guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and we are at Atlanta Comic-Con. I am joined by Bree and Eric, the designer of the Serial at Midnight t-shirts. I'm wearing my Captain Tiki design. Captain Tiki is with us in spirit. Eric is the designer of this shirt. But we have been invited, Bree and I have been invited to cover Atlanta Comic-Con, so we are here by request. So thank you to Atlanta Comic-Con. There's so much going on for this event. There are well over 100 panels and activities. There's celebrity meet and greets. There's a huge exhibit hall with tons of dealers, comic back issue digging. So we're gonna go inside and see what's happening in the exhibit hall. Let's see what we can find. Guys, we are back at Serial at Midnight headquarters. We quickly discovered that the audio from the show floor, it was just so echoey. There were so many people, you could not hear us.
Speaking of so many people, let's take that opportunity to say this is only the second year of this con.
Yes.
We went last year.
Right.
And we can see a definite rise in the number of people.
Way busier.
From last year to this year. It was very busy. It was very encouraging, very good to see.
That's a good thing, right.
That they've grown so much.
What was bad for our audio was good for Atlanta Comic-Con.
For that convention.
So we have all this video footage. We're just going to show it to you while we talk about the convention experience that we had. You know what? Let's start with the cosplay, because this was a great cosplay convention. You know, we do these things. We go to some of these conventions and stuff, but I feel like the cosplay in Atlanta is...
It was on point.
On point.
Really good.
And so Mini Midnight was in charge of the cosplay photography. So all the photos that you're about to see or that you are seeing right now, courtosy of Mini Midnight. And I think she did a great job. I think that just as the comic book fans and the cosplayers showed up, Mini Midnight was there approaching everybody and, can I take a picture? And everybody was up for it. Like, they were really... And it was just a really good, friendly cosplay scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
People like Jason Voorhees posing with a Power Ranger. Yeah. Like, everybody was just kind of working together. It was very cool. Yeah, so it was a great cosplay convention. But there were other things going on. There was a lot of there was a lot of celebrity signings. Yeah. They had Val Kilmer, who, of course, like, real genius, right? But also Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is another one of my favorite Val Kilmer movies. Yeah. But of course, he took over Batman from Michael Keaton, and I like Val Kilmer's Batman. I think he was a good one. James Arnold Taylor. Yeah. There was some Power Rangers there. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 80s. By the way, there was a panel of the four 80s, the original Saturday morning. Well, it was syndicated, and then it went to Saturday mornings. But you guys know the classic Ninja Turtles. Rob Paulson, Cam Clark, the original guys on the stage at the same time, telling stories, talking about what it was like to be behind the scenes of that. That was one of my favorites of the whole weekend.
Yeah, that one was great,
just because. And there was a cool story that came out of it, too. It gives new meaning to the word thermos. Because one of the questions that someone asked was, if the Ninja Turtles were to face Thanos for the Infinity Stones, what would they say or what would they do? And only one of the Turtles voice actors knew who Thanos was.
Everybody was like,
yes, shocked. They were, boy, it was almost a riot. They were like, what? But Rob Paulson made a joke. He was like, what, THERMOS? Did you say THERMOS? And he kind of ran with it in character. Why do you call it THERMOS? And so now, whenever I hear THERMOS, I am going to think of Thanos.
Yeah, or Thanos THERMOS.
Yes, exactly. Another really great panel that we got to go to was Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman from Batman the Animated Series. Now that is, I love a lot of Batman. I love Batman 1989. I like Val Kilmer's Batman too, but when I think about the core of Batman, when I read Batman comics, I hear Kevin Conroy's voice.
Yeah, I think that's true for many people.
He's well, because it's been like 28 years or something like that. So many of us have grown up with it or spent I mean, you do something that long, you become associated with that thing.
Every afternoon.
The Arkham games, I mean, for me, he is Batman. So to hear the stories that he was telling, listen, he's probably done that thing, like told those stories
tons of
so many
I'm
times,
sure.
But nothing felt rehearsed or you know, like casual, like he wasn't like not invested. It was like
genuinely enthused.
He was
excited.
Locked in.
Yeah, it was great.
He was so gracious with the people that, you know, the fans that were asking questions and things like that. I think that was my favorite of the whole weekend. It was
an excellent panel for sure. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yes, I got to see Bonnie Wright. She did a panel. Ginny Weasley from the Harry Potter films. So she was talking about some behind the scenes Harry Potter stories.
And you said a lot of younger people in that one.
There were a lot of kids.
Excited and
one girl got up and she was emotional because she was. It was sweet. It was very sweet. On like the fan track panels, there were a lot of really cool. Listen, there were like over 100 panels at this thing,
and activities going on at the same time. A lot of stuff.
A lot of the gaming, the cosplaying, the tabletop video games, like all kinds of D&D.
Yeah.
But like there was always something. There was usually 2 or 3 things going on at the same time, and you had to make a choice.
Yeah.
But I know you went to some. Mythology panels.
I did. I went to 3 mythology panels. 2 of them were by Nathan Robert Brown.
Okay.
Who is a mythologist, which I didn't even realize you could be.
Can I be a mythologist?
You could be. He has a master's in mythology.
So I have to go to school for this.
Yeah. So he knows a lot about mythology. He wrote. He's written several books. One of them is the mythology of Supernatural, meaning Supernatural, the TV show.
Like, Dad wanted us to go on hunting things.
Yes, and Dean. He talked about Jensen Ackles first thing because, as it turns out, he went to junior high with him.
With Jensen Ackles?
Yes, but he said, you know, we weren't really friends. We didn't hang in the same circles. So, like, one of his things he said at the very beginning was like, don't ask me questions about Jensen Ackles because I don't really know him. I can't tell you anything about him. He said...
You think he's just saying that so people don't stick around and ask questions about Jensen Ackles?
I don't know. I mean, he seemed really open to like whatever.
Yeah.
Because even though the panel was on Supernatural, he was like, you can ask me questions about anything. So people were asking,
if a griffin fought a dragon, who would win?
Yeah. I mean, he would literally answer anything. Yeah. Like, people were like, why did you want to become a mythologist? Like, how did you get that? I mean, all these questions. And he was really good about answering them and very entertaining. Clearly knows a lot about mythology. So those were really enjoyable.
Okay.
And then I also went to one on the rise of diversity in sci-fi and comics.
Comics, okay.
Yeah, which was really engaging. It was very good. They did a very nice job of, like, a lot of people sharing. It's a hot button issue there. It is, and just a lot of people were sharing opinions and thoughts and asking questions. But it was a very kind and thoughtful conversation. There wasn't anybody yelling at other people and telling them they were wrong. Like, it was just a really good open discussion, and I enjoyed that one very much. Yeah,
you know, speaking of comics, that reminds me that I also saw. Well, first. I went to a Supergirl celebration. It was like a celebration of 60 years. It was a Supergirl anniversary panel where they were, the presenter, listen, she had her stuff together. It turns out she does a podcast about Supergirl. I'll put a graphic up here so you guys can...
She had a presentation, right?
She had a PowerPoint presentation, meticulous notes. I took notes during this panel. I wanted to go up and talk to her afterwards, but she was engaged with some other people. But I wanted to go up and talk to her afterwards and just tell her what an impressive job she did. Because I like the movie. You know, there's the Blu-ray from Warner Archive of the Helen Slater Supergirl movie. There's, of course, the hit TV show now. And, you know, there's... I like Supergirl, but there's stuff about it that I don't really know about. And it was like a crash course in the history of Supergirl.
Very
Not
thorough.
only didn't just begin with the first appearance of Supergirl, it began like 18 years before Supergirl appeared, when they first started playing with the idea of a female counterpart to Superman, like a Superman type hero that was a woman that had Superman powers. She went all the way back to that, and then brought it forward. And so so like, oh, this run, I got to check out the Peter David run. I got to check this out.
That was very impressive.
It was.
And very thorough, too.
I was so impressed.
Yeah.
I was fascinated. Like, we went to some panels that were less than...
Yeah, full disclosure.
Great. We went to some that were kind of duds. I think we went to some that the people that were doing them didn't even seem to really want to be there. We might have walked out of some panels, too. But
maybe.
We're not going to talk about those, but we're just saying we appreciate when it's done really well. With the fan panels, obviously the celebrity panels are always going to be like, they're going to hit hard.
It's a different kind of
thing.
But
the fan track panels, you know, it is a different kind of thing. And so when the people that were doing those really did a great job, it was awesome. Yeah. I also went to one that I have to talk about. That was it was the Comic Book Biz in the 1970s panel with comic book creators from the 70s, including Gerry Conway, who was the man that killed Gwen Stacy, as his booth said. He's got like a graphic behind him. It says, the man that killed Gwen Stacy. He co-created the Punisher. I co-created with, you know, the artists and stuff, but I associate Gerry Conway with the Punisher. He also did film work. I mean, he's still active. He's still doing creation and stuff, but he has so many interesting, controversial, pointed opinions about the direction of the current comic book industry, why comics as a print form seem to be diminishing instead of expanding, while the movies are big business, why they necessarily haven't translated. It was fascinating. When people that worked with Stan Lee start talking about how the comic book business should be run, I feel like we should probably pay attention. Yeah. It was really good. We can maybe delve into that a little bit later in a different video or something. But
that would be an interesting discussion for sure.
He had some really interesting opinions. So aside from the panels and all the activities and the cosplay, shopping, we got to talk about the shopping.
There were so many things in the exhibit hall.
Listen, last year we were at Atlanta Comic Con. I did a wrap-up video last year as well, and I had some things to say. A few criticisms. One of them was it's not necessarily Atlanta Comic Con's fault, but last year, not a lot of comics at Atlanta Comic Con, but this year, oh my goodness, the comics. There were so many comic booths, so many good deals. I am actually going to do a separate comic book haul video because there's so many. The comics that I bought from this convention, the last convention we went to, even just things I've picked up, you know, in the mail off eBay, things like that. I'm going to do a huge comic book video, so you guys stay tuned for that. It'll probably be coming this week. But
aside from the comics, which there were a ton of,
yes,
there was also a ton of other things. There was art, figures, Funko Pops, shirts. I mean, anybody could have found something there. Pins and magnets and decals and all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff.
And of course, we partook of the offerings. I got to see Geoffrey Gwinn, my friend Geoffrey Gwinn. I've talked about him several times on the channel before. The Thundercats print that is over my shoulder in so many of the videos from the last few months. That is a Geoffrey Gwinn piece of art. And so I got to see him again and talk to him a little bit. He's local for us. Like, he lives in the same area that we live in. So cool. He's a hometown guy, but he was in Atlanta Comic Con, so that was really cool. And so I also went by Andrew Heath's booth. Now, we've seen him. I saw him last year too. We saw Andrew Heath, and we almost bought some stuff last year.
He has some really cool stuff. I like his art.
It's very stylized. It's very I don't know. I want to say Art Deco, but I don't think that's right. It's just very classic, like pop art. And so we grabbed some stuff here. I'll just show you guys what we got here. We bought two poster prints from Andrew Heath. And the first one, here, pull this back here, is it's Nintendo. So it's all of the Nintendo icons, obviously, like Mario, Donkey Kong, Link, Samus, Star Fox, Pikachu. This is awesome. So by the way, we're doing more videos from the Blue Room. We're gonna start putting the art back here.
Stay tuned
so
for that.
You will see these in action.
Yeah.
The other one that I got.
This is so cool.
So cool, you guys. It's Godzilla. And it's got, can you possibly get that top corner?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got Rodan, we've got Ghidorah, however you want to pronounce it, and Mothra. You know we love our kaiju here at Cereal at Midnight, so this is going to get a prominent place on the wall.
Definitely.
You guys, even Mini Midnight got into the scene too.
So she really likes pins, so she got a couple of pins. I'm going to start with this one. So a Jack and Sally pin. This was from an artist named Bonnie Wong, I believe is right. She has some really cool stuff. And then I actually don't know where this one came from.
It's a very emo Shrek.
Yeah, it's funny because we asked her about it and she said there's a thing at her school where everybody talks about how Shrek is sexy Shrek. And so now she has a button
of Sexy Shrek.
Sexy Shrek.
So sexy.
Because that's what you think of as Shrek, right? Sexy. He's
ready to be on Riverdale. That's what's happening there.
Yes.
She also picked up some prints.
She did, yes. From Geek Mountain. We got his card. He had some really cool prints. We liked his work.
He was very nice too. He was just fun. He was just fun to talk to.
Yeah.
So we got a Sally.
As you can tell, she's big Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
That's the name of it, right? I slipped my mind for a second.
Nightmare Before Elm Street.
Yes.
She got the Jack Skellington.
Those are very cool.
Trying to get the glare off of it. Yeah. Very, very cool. And she got the stapler from
Office Space. We recently watched that.
So she's seen Office Space. We've showed her Office Space.
And she liked it. Clearly, so she wanted to get this.
I was told I would not have to move again, and I was told, that's my stapler. That's my stapler.
So that's great. So these will be hanging in her room.
These will go in her room. So that's, listen, love supporting original artists.
Definitely, yeah. I love original artwork.
By the way, this was the official poster of the convention this year. There was a poster last year. There's a poster this year. This is a takeoff on a Rockwell painting, and it's basically Star-Lord babysitting Groot.
Well, it says at the bottom, Star-Lord's Adventures in Babysitting.
That's right. And so where do you want to go next? You have two more things here.
I do. I'll take this one.
Okay.
So,
there was an artist there that was doing... Okay. Drex 9 Studios.
Yeah, and he has a side to the card as well.
Had basically like family portraits of fun pop culture characters. And
so he had... horror icons. Like I seriously considered buying you like a Michael Myers.
I
know. I'm sorry. Michael Myers.
Mike Myers is my former podcast partner, Geek Brunch. So check out Mike Myers on Geek Brunch.
Anyway, Michael Myers, a Jason, and a.
I'm just hearing this for the first time.
A Freddy. I was like, I like a good little. But he also had Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, see, that's.
He had Pee Wee Herman. Yeah, he had so many cool things, but I ended up getting one of the Muppets. He had a lot of Muppets, and what happened was Eric Griggs bought one. He bought a Gonzo, and I was like, where did you get that? So cool. And so I got a Beaker, because I love Beaker. And aren't those cool? Those portraits are awesome. I love
Just trying to get the glare off of it. There we go.
I love the background, like that sort of old English wallpaper kind of.
Yes.
And he said he does all of his subjects like facing forward, just like a portrait, and and he had a whole list of ones he was going to work on next. So if you like this, I would check out his website. And
we're gonna have to see where he's going to be next, because I did not know he had the slashers.
Well, I didn't want to spend all of the money, but
yeah, that's true.
But we can check out his website and. Yeah.
I just realized it's he's hand signed it too.
Yeah. And he had some that he had in shadow boxes.
Yeah.
And where the wallpaper was in the background and it was actually the original artwork was in the front, and it was backlit.
Oh, wow.
And that was really cool with the horror ones. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very cool. I really liked his artwork a lot.
Awesome. So the last thing is yours. Do you want to present it to us?
Sure.
It's the biggest piece too.
It is the biggest piece. So we went by a booth. It's Terry Huddleston. Terry Huddleston. He had some super cool stuff.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of different kind of stuff too. One of the ones I really liked that we didn't get was he had 2 actually Black Panther prints that were super cool. Like,
did you
one
see
of them?
Okay.
One of them, like when you kind of looked at it from the side, you could see this like leopard print.
Yeah.
Throughout, like, so it was like textured onto there. It was really cool.
Very
cool. I can't really explain.
He also had a really cool like Iron Man and War Machine. And you could just like wallpaper a whole room with all
his stuff.
With all this art.
Awesome.
Don't bury the lead. Let's see what you got.
Sorry. Okay. I got one of my favorite things. I got a Sailor Moon.
Yeah, this thing is huge.
It is huge. We can fit it all in the
way
shot.
Back here. There we go.
Yeah.
So you're a huge Sailor Moon fan.
I am, and Minnie Midnight is too.
Yes.
So we love this one, and we really wanted to have it.
In the name of the moon, I will punish you.
Yep.
But yeah, it's really fantastic, and this is like a thick card.
It is really thick, and
prints.
It has texture on it as well.
Yes, it's like raised.
Yeah. Look, you can see stars. I don't know that they can see, but like down the side, look, this like stars imprinted.
Oh yeah.
On there.
Yeah, I'll try.
It does really good work. It's very cool.
I'll try. I don't know that that's going to show up.
Can
there
see.
Are stars embedded here into the paper.
Super cool.
So we had a good con. Atlanta Comic-Con year 2 was so much bigger than year 1.
Huge success.
And we had a good time at year 1. Some lingering issues that I don't know that they can do anything about. The echo in the main, so the main panel room for the celebrities, room C114, C114, right? It's just the acoustics are terrible in there.
Yeah.
And so last year people were commenting that we can't hear ourselves. Can you hear us? And the same thing happened again this year. And I don't know that there's a solution for that at this venue because it is the biggest hall in the convention center.
So there's going to be a big echo.
Yeah.
It's not really set up for
if you put a sound system
like
in a huge room, you're going to have echo. Unless you have speakers all over the place and you can't do that there.
So pro tip, if you go to a panel in that room, is to sit in the front
row. Like our Kevin Conroy panel, we were so close.
Sat on the front.
We could hear him without the microphone. So it was like we were front row. So so he was just like right there. So that's our tip is if you do go to Atlanta Comic-Con and you want to avoid some of the sound issues, the closer you sit, the better it is. Yeah. But again, it's not necessarily something that is an easy fix.
Right.
And I'm sure they're aware of it.
And it's not something that would keep us from going
Absolutely.
either.
Absolutely. No. That's correct. Yeah. So I had a blast. I want to definitely make sure Atlanta Comic-Con, thank you so much for inviting us to cover this as press. We had a great job. We had a great time.
And a great job.
And it was a great job.
It was a good time.
So, yes.
And a good job.
So, I guess we'll wrap that up. It was a huge success. So, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us, checking out this video. Let us know what you think about it. Were you there? Did you cosplay? Let's just talk about it in the comments below. So thank you very much. Take care. And until next time, we will catch you later.